Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Brent, and I just want to welcome each of you that are here this morning. It'd be interesting to see how many more chairs fill up in the next 15 minutes. But everybody who's here and who will be here, it's just perfect. We just welcome you and know that today there'll be something here, some part of the service that will touch you deeply. Would you take a moment right now and turn off your cell phones? Turn them all the way off so they don't interfere with the sound system, please. I know it's tough being out of communications for 60 minutes, but you can do it. Yeah. And once you do that, why don't you turn and greet your neighbor? And I'm assuming... I always like hearing the happy chatter. That's beautiful. It's such a gorgeous day, gorgeous weekend, gorgeous life. But this morning kind of spoke to me. This is from the Tao. It says, live in accordance with the nature of things. In dwelling, be close to the land. In meditation, go deep in the heart. In dealing with others, be gentle and kind. Stand by your word. Be timely in choosing the right moment. One who lives in accordance with nature does not go against the way of things. He moves in harmony with the present moment, always knowing the truth of just what to do. Peace and blessings. We'll have our morning chant, the words on the screen, followed by our invocation by Janet Carol Ryan.
You want once we get through it once. Dear child, let me tell you how I feel. I have given you my treasures. I love you so. I love you so, says the universe to each and every one of us. And so we drink in this love, allowing this very moment to be the sacred portal, receiving the infinite blessings of life right here, right now, just as it is. Just as it is becoming. Breathing into the heart and allowing the heart to expand. The individual heart of each beloved here in this space, connecting with the universal heart, for there is only one. Connecting with the global heart, for we are one. I accept the bountiful, numerous, overpowering blessings of this sacred service as we are together in the community of the heart, present in this moment. I call forth the elegance of spirit, utilizing each and every aspect of this service to heal, to bless, to inspire, to ignite the original genius that dwells within each one of us. For this I give thanks, and let it be. And so it is. Blessed be.
We have Andoni and Ross Gualco on keyboards. Always wonderful to have Ross back, so please welcome our wonderful musicians.
Okay. You all know this one, so you can join on in. It's a song by Bill Withers. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If you have a load that you must bear, that you can't carry, I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load. If you just call or text me, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. So just call me when you need a hand. Early in the morning now, call me when you need a friend. Late in the evening now, now call me when you need a hand. Oh, call me, call me. Reverend Karyl.
Karyl Huntley, and this is a happy Memorial Day for all of us. So welcome, and it's also an ordination day for us. I think some of our folks are getting ready for the ordination later in the afternoon, to which you're all invited. Before I begin, I'd like to honor Janet Ryan, who not only gave us that beautiful prayer, but made this beautiful altar this morning. I'd like us to honor Eleanor Harding, who's doing the PowerPoint this morning. And Johnny Van, who painted the podium. And we have to honor Jean Langell, who built it. So thank you. So this is the year of yes. I think I need a big yes. Yes. Okay. Great. And we are looking into this wonderful foundation of our philosophy, an essay by our founder called "What We Believe," and that poster is now over there. It gives the 12 quotes that we're dealing with this year, plus the words that we have gone through so far. And we are finishing up today. This is the finishing up of month number 5. And the quote number 5, which is, "We believe in the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all." So this heavenly state of complete peace up there now is our theme for the month. This is the last day you'll see that doggy and that kitty taking that pretty peaceful nap. So this is cumulative. So each month we add these qualities to our life. So if there's anything unpeaceful about your life, this is the day to just give it up to God, because we're moving on to oneness next month. So you got to have peace so you can go to oneness, okay? So my talk title today is Buddha's Choice. So isn't that just a great slide? It's so beautiful with Buddha there under the Bodhi tree. So I want to tell you the story of Buddha's life, because in any spiritual master's life, any junior spiritual master's life, there are lots of choices. And I just was thinking of our own Reverend M. Louise also as I was making this talk, because her choice to be ordained is a major, major choice in a minister's life. So all of the masters and the baby masters have great choices to make. So Buddha was born Siddhartha Gautama, and his parents, who were royalty, received a prophecy. And the prophecy was that their son, little baby Siddhartha, would either be a great king or a great spiritual leader. So the royal family said, well, we don't want no spiritual leader in our family, so we're going to keep him in the palace. So the only thing that he knows is royalty, and he will slip right into being a great king, and we will train him to be a great king. And so Gautama was kept in the palace until he became a young man. And then somehow he escaped. He escaped the palace. And you have to kind of get this picture here, because here this young man had only known purity and cleanliness and opulence and beauty and jewels and crowns and all of those things of a castle or a palace. And then he went out into a very, very poor civilization with people suffering. And he actually was very, very moved by poverty, by sickness, and by death. None of those things had he ever seen in the palace. And he was extremely moved and actually dedicated himself at that moment to his life's work, which of course was being the great spiritual teacher. And he dedicated himself to the suffering ones to alleviate suffering. And with that philosophy, he began an entire spiritual movement out of Hinduism that became Buddhism. Of course, just like Jesus was not a Christian, Buddha was not a Buddhist. But he started, his followers came after him and created this movement based on non-attachment and peace. And so that was Buddha's first big choice, to leave the palace. And as he grew to being a spiritual master, he studied and prayed and studied and prayed and meditated and served and studied and prayed and served and meditated. And then he deeply, deeply desired enlightenment. And so one day he just said, enough already. I am going to sit under this Bodhi tree until I achieve enlightenment. And he went into meditation, and the story goes he meditated for weeks under this Bodhi tree, and he did achieve enlightenment. He entered into that state that Buddhists call samadhi, which is the eternal bliss. And in this state of eternal bliss, he then received the title of Buddha. Buddha means the enlightened one or the awakened one. And just like Jesus said to his followers, I'm the same as you, and all the things that I do, you can do too. Buddha said the same thing. He said, there's no difference. There is no difference between me and you. It's just that I'm awake. So that is the meaning of the title, Buddha. So as he was sitting in samadhi, Mara came to him. Now, Mara is a mythical Buddhist demon. And he, of course, it's symbolic of, all the rest of that I'm going to share with you today. But Mara came and tempted Buddha, tempted him away from his life purpose. And first of all, he brought dancing girls. And Buddha it didn't faze him. He just kept right on with that centered meditation. And then he brought great warriors that would bring winning all the wars, and whatever they strode out into, they would conquer. And said, all of these are yours, Buddha. And Buddha just kept in that state of samadhi. And then Mara really, really did it, because the whole thing of temptation, and there's nothing outside of us that tempts us. There's no great tempter on the outside of us. But what tempts us is our own inner doubt and our inner weakness. So, but it's personified by the demon Mara. So Mara said to Buddha, this that you're feeling right now, samadhi, when you enter nirvana, it never ends. And I can take you there right now. You never have to come back. You never have to see the suffering and the poverty and the sickness and the death anymore. You can get off the wheel of life. You don't even have to reincarnate anymore. You can go to nirvana and stay there. I betcha that was the greatest offer that somebody like Buddha could ever get. And you know what? He didn't take it. He said, no, I am going back, and I am going to bring my people with me. That was Buddha's choice. And what he ended up doing, of course, was he lived the life he came to live. He lived his purpose. So, the message, of course, is we all have one. We all have a purpose, and actually, we get big old direction signs for our purpose. But, I think for me, purpose has to do with what we have to give and what we have to learn. And I think we come into this life with something to give and something to learn. And I think, for me, that a purpose can be an ongoing life theme. Like once I decided, I didn't decide. It was revealed to me that I was really here to talk about ritualized changes and how ritual can so enhance the experience of our life and then when I started doing it and it started being accepted at every single level of this denomination and beyond, I kind of got it. And I liked it. I loved it. So I thought, okay, this is it. This is my life purpose. So sometimes it comes to us as a theme for our whole lives. And sometimes I think it's like one interaction with one person. You are in the right place at the right time to deliver a divine message and change somebody else's life. And that could be your purpose. Or it could be both of those things, or it could be a series of those things. But we can intuitively feel, I think, when we're on track. And often, when we are on track, living our purpose, we come up against these growing edges that seem so formidable. Because, of course, we're not here to just hang around. We are here to evolve. And so we have growing to do as well as giving. And so sometimes huge issues come into our life, very much like Buddha, where he was tempted to the greatest diversion from his path. And sometimes that message for us, what we think we need to do, our life purpose, is so formidable that we kind of say, no, ask someone else. And we try to get away from that. So then there seems to be a force. The force is very much like Mara. There seems to be a force, of course it's not really true, that invites us away from our purpose, and that is called temptation. So, here we are with temptation. Now, the background of temptation is this tangle of wires, because when we're on purpose, we are like a highway. We are going in the right direction. We've got all of the signposts pointing us down the way. Our path is lit, even if it's only one step ahead of us, it is lit, and we're straight. When we're off purpose and when we are tempted to astray, what happens is that it feels tangled. We get confused or something. And it feels like we don't know what we're supposed to do, and we kind of, go here and go here like a puppy that isn't trained yet. Sniff at this, sniff at this, sniff at this. So the ways that we can get off track, I want to enumerate today. And the first one is fear. And because doing something that we have not done before is scary, and because growth involves doing something that we've never done before, we often come up against something that's scary. And it's not only the things that we are called to do, because the first thing that we are called to do, of course, when we get back on course, is to change a belief. Whatever that belief is inside that has made us go sniff over here and, kind of try to go off track here, the belief is the first thing to change to get us back on track. And sometimes that belief has to do with, no matter how scary this is, I have everything within me that I need in order to give my gifts and be on purpose. And that's the belief, instead of, oh, this is just too scary, I can't do it. Anybody out? This came through me, so am I speaking to people who have had fear or who might have fear? Yeah. Okay, the next temptation that we go through is laziness. Now, laziness is a lot like fear. It takes effort to overcome fear, and sometimes we just don't want to. We just don't want to work that hard. We want to watch television or text our friends or do any number of things that take us away from what our purpose is. Now, Scott Peck, in his wonderful book, The Road Less Traveled, really talks about laziness. And he says that if there's any sin at all, and of course he defines sin as missing the mark, getting off track. If there's any sin at all, it's laziness. So let me just read a little bit of part here in this part about original sin. Being about spiritual growth, this book is inevitably about the other side of the coin, the impediments to spiritual growth. Ultimately, there is only one impediment, and that is laziness. If we overcome laziness, all the other impediments will be overcome. Laziness is love's opposite. For many years, I found the notion of original sin meaningless, even objectionable. Sexuality did not strike me as particularly sinful, nor my various other appetites. Gradually, however, I became increasingly aware of the ubiquitous nature of laziness. In the struggle to help my patients grow, I found that my chief enemy was invariably their laziness. So, one of the ways that I think laziness manifests here in us is, and I do not want to instill guilt in anybody. I just want to, I hadn't planned on saying this either, but when people come to a practitioner with the very same request over years and years and years, there is an internal belief that it is not me, but the practitioner that does the work. And that is not true. That is not true. What is true is that you do the work. And if over years and years and years you have come to a practitioner and asked for the very same thing in prayer, it's because there has not been a change in you. And we are here, the practitioners are nodding. And actually, the practitioners are nodding not only because they get this, but because they've been through it. They have asked years on end for the same thing until they finally go, oh, it's my work. It's my work and it's your work. And it takes courage and love. And what I mean by overcoming laziness is not to get busier. It is to get your consciousness straight. That's what it is about laziness, is to shift your consciousness to self-responsibility and knowing that perhaps the belief that you have in yourself is the problem, not the world. Okay? Take a big breath. Next temptation is distraction. We get distracted off our purpose by busyness, unconsciousness, pretend confusion. Now, I say pretend confusion because in class, we are on to something. We are on to this shift in consciousness that the whole class wants to make, and somebody goes, I'm confused. No, you're not confused. You are resistant. You're distracted. So, pretend confusion, forgetting, and some other smokescreen of your own choosing, because applying ourselves to the spiritual pathway ahead seems too much. So what am I saying for those new people that are like, oh my God, what is she expecting us to do? It's the same kind of practices or lessons that we talk about all the time. Here are some of them. Forgiveness, truth-telling, healing the past, taking responsibility, self-love, love of others, giving what is ours to give, honoring our soul's desires for expression, and consent to our purpose. You want that list again? No, you don't need it. It's a big one, but that's what we're here to do. That's your work. It's pretty predictable what we're all here to do, and I'm here to do as well. And you have a lot of help. You have so much help here to get all the forgiveness done, all the healing of the past done. You've got a lot of help here to realize your life purpose and to step into it. You have classes, you have practitioners, and you have me up here berating you saying it's your work, it's your work, it's your work. So, the next temptation is addiction. So, this is really sad because what happens is it's usually because we participated in the others, in fear, in laziness, and distraction for a long time. And the stepping onto our life's purpose seems so formidable on one hand and so painful not to on the other hand. That's a dilemma. It's so hard I can't do it, but it's so painful not to that I have to numb my whole self with addictive substances or behavior. That's really my view of addiction. It's that what I have to do is too hard, and looking at it and not doing it is too painful. And so what my choice left is to go unconscious with something. And we have help for that too. It's the same thing. It's stepping onto your life path. And then the last temptation I want to talk about is ego desire. Now, there's a difference between soul desire and ego desire. The soul desire is what you came here to do on earth. It is what your soul wants you to accomplish. It is your life purpose. And your ego desire is something that says you're special, you are fabulous, you are so wonderful, you are great, you are greater than the one before in your position. And so we seek promotion, we seek prestige, we seek acquisition, and that is the ego desire that can take us. We can get going on that. We can pretend we're doing spiritual work. We can set goals. We can do treatments. We can see practitioners. And if we aren't rigorous with our self-questioning, our desires are supporting our separation. That's what ego desires do. It promotes our separation. You are different from everybody else. You are more special in some way. Rather than, it's really none of my business. But here I am doing the work that God has put in front of me, and I love doing it, and it's just me doing my work, and if I can help other people, fabulous. Do you feel the difference? Sometimes it's hard to discern. And when it is hard to discern, then you go to a practitioner and you say, I would like a prayer for clarity. I want to be clear. If what I am pursuing is my ego desire, because what I really want to do is my soul's desire. And then sometimes it's all mixed up with the way you were parented. And if your parents said, you think you can have whatever you want? And then you kind of throw all desire out because desire is wrong, and desire isn't wrong. It is really what puts us on the road of our life purpose, is following the soul desire on the inside. So looking over these, fear, laziness, distraction, addiction, and ego desire, these all came out of me. And so I have done my own work on many of these, and I'm still working. But the solution is the same. The solution is Buddha's choice. Now, Buddha's choice was to live his life purpose. Now, you might think that you don't know what your life purpose is. You might think, I have not given into a desire that I am aware of for so long. I have not given myself love or fulfillment in any way for so long. I do not know how to discern what my life purpose is if I have to think about what I want. If I have to think about what I want to give, what I have to give, I can't even go there. Well, you don't have to. because God is so persistent and so creative. And actually the teaching is, it's not God out here saying, you go, you go, you go. It's God in here saying, I yearn to experience what I put you on earth to experience. I yearn to give through you what only you can give. And so it is God's desire that is our soul's desire. And all you have to do is open to it. So this is what you say to yourself, this next one. I am willing to live the life I came to live. Can I hear you say that? That is all God needs. You do not have to know where that is going to take you. You do not have to know what you are opening to. It does take courage and love. And I know you all. I know you all. You have courage and love. And so all you need to say is, I am willing to live the life I came to live. So, in just a few minutes, we're going to conclude this month on the emancipation of all discord. In just a few minutes, this talk will be done. And then the purpose of this month will be alive in you, hopefully. So I want to just paint a picture about how it would be if all of us were living our life purpose. If all of us were living our life purpose and we were peacefully growing at the rate that is set before us, we were overcoming whatever resistance we have, we were paying attention to the urgings of God within us, we were doing our part in the world, because our part is always for the expansion and fuller expression of the God within us. And if everybody was doing that, because one of the life-giving qualities of the infinite is balance and harmony, we wouldn't be running into each other. If we were all living our life purpose and giving our gifts, it would be heaven on earth. There would not be conflict. We would have the emancipation of all conflict. And so that's how this topic fits into the topic of the month, and it is essential for the complete emancipation of all discord of every nature for everyone on the planet. We're not going to have it if, a bunch of us are living our life purpose and a bunch of the rest of us are saying, nah, ask somebody else. That leads to frustration and conflict. So I'm here begging you again. Do your work and live your life purpose. The infinite wants to express through you, and you have all of the support that you could possibly ever use in this community and around you in the world. One of my favorite quotations from the Bible is from the translation of the Bible that's called the Phillips translation. It's just the New Testament. And this is in Paul's letter to the Romans, where he writes in this translation, the whole of creation is on tiptoe to see the wonderful sight of the sons and daughters of God coming into their own. All of those unseen realms are going, come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And you can do it. So, the takeaway for today is, all of life supports me in living my purpose. Now, as I was concluding my talk, my preparation for my talk, as I sometimes do, and believe me, this is not distraction, but I go to email. Sometimes I go to email just to pause my brain. And I'm telling you, this is a miracle. Because there was an email from an older minister, Bill Arnott, who puts a lot of things up on the ministerial listserv. And this is, this is an email with a prayer attached by a person that was one of his teachers. And I'm going to read pretty much the whole email because some of you who have done a lot of studying and the people who have had roots are going to know some of these names. And our movement is still small enough and young enough that there are people still alive that knew the great ones. And so this is what Bill writes. Looking back is something we don't talk about much. However, Memorial Day is an opportune time to remember those who have enabled us to be where we are today, equipped to do what we're here to do. Foremost in my memory is my first religious science teacher, Dr. Claudine Whitaker, a former Episcopal deaconess and a student of Emmett Fox. She studied divine science under Dr. Harvey Hardman, who was also Carlton Whitehead's teacher. She went to Chicago. She was sent to Chicago by Nona Brooks to take over the church she had founded in 1919. Through INTA, she got to know Ernest Holmes, Robert Bitzer, and Raymond Charles Barker. Through them, she brought the Chicago church into religious science. Her treatment on purpose in Creative Thought magazine is my favorite. It led me into the ministry. So I think that this is a fitting, I'm almost over this darn cold. Sarah. I'm going to have Sarah read this treatment because her teacher was Carlton Whitehead. Right
here. The quote from John 18:37. To this end was I born, and for this cause I came into the world, and that I shall bear witness to the truth. I walk tall and hold my head high because I am God's representative. I am a living, thinking being and a distributor of the infinite goodness. To be God's distributor is the purpose for which I have been placed here on earth. By my thoughts, words, and acts, I distribute peace, love, and joy. I distribute courage and faith. Universal Mind uses my thoughts as its channel for distributing its healing power. To this end I was born, and for this cause I came into the world. I cast fear and doubt far from me. Nothing contrary to the nature of love can abide in my consciousness. Feelings of inadequacy and inferiority melt away when I realize that I am God's steward. The mind that formed me to be a dispenser of goods sees to it that I am equipped and supplied with everything necessary for fulfilling my function. Creative power is mine with which to change any adverse conditions around me. All good is mine to use and share. I distribute goodness and fulfill my purpose. Written by Bill Arrett.
So, thank you, Sarah. As we go into the inner work, and we have that meditative slide that takes you into the sunrise, on this Memorial Day, I encourage you to go within and let those beloveds who have lived their life purpose, that have contributed to you being exactly where you are today, to come into your awareness. Let those sweet beings who overcame fear, laziness, distraction, any tendency towards addiction, and ego desire, to give their gifts fully. They are your teachers, and we remember them today. They are your champions. They are the warriors that have lived their life so that you may live your purpose here and now. And so it is that I bless those that came before us. I bless all those selfless beings who gave of their life. And I bless us, the receivers of those gifts today. I bless our gifts as we give them, so that those who come after us may have a straight path for giving their own gifts and a consciousness of love and peace in which to express themselves. All is good, all is God, and so it is. Amen.
The voice of a mother and a father and a child. Would you recognize the truth? Do you feel the love that's falling from my eyes? Take just a minute, come and rest you by my side. Let me tell you your own story. Let me walk you through your lives. Only a second is all it takes to realize. There's 100,000 angels by your side. There's 100,000 angels by your side. Do you hear me talk to you? I whisper through doorways and pathways of your mind, clear like the morning dew, and fresh from my journey across an ocean of blue. Take just a minute, come and Let me tell you your own story. Let me walk you through your lives. And only a second is all it takes to realize. There's 100,000 angels by your side. There's 100,000 angels here this time.
And that's the truth. Would the ushers please come forward now? Now is the time for our tithes and offerings. If you would like to know how to get one of those little cards to put in the basket, you need to pledge. And we would love to have that pledge. There are pledge cards all around on the tables. And what is especially wonderful is if you choose to have it automatically deducted from any bank that you use. It is so easy for you, and it's so wonderful for us because we have some idea in anticipation of the money that comes in each week. So we would love that. But whatever you give, if it's automatic, if it's a check, if it's your love, whatever that gift is going to be, just hold it in your hand and put it near your heart and know that all of the gifts are appreciated and they all make up the fabric of this wonderful community. We are so grateful. We are grateful for the act of giving, the giving that always comes to us from the infinite, and the giving that we do as divine distributors of God's goodness. Blessed be, and please repeat our affirmation together. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time, and so it is.
I am remembering
So I bless this offering here today. I bless all the loving gifts that are in this basket, and I bless all the loving gifts that are in this room. They are all loved, all appreciated, all accepted with so much thanksgiving. And so it is. Amen. Okay, honeys, this is what else is happening. So our announcements. The first one is Reverend Mary Marie Shelton will be your speaker next week. And she's fabulous. She's going to be speaking on how to seduce the divine. And so that should be a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Gourmets for God. Scott, stand up. Scott is our house father on all of the Gourmet for God parties. They are in the back of the room, and today is the last day that you can sign up, and some of them have reached their limit and they are bidding up. Remember that you get to bid the opening bid for as many as the host wants, and then you get to bid up, and it's already happening. So if you think you've signed up, you better go check if you're still on the list and bid higher. So this is a wonderful, wonderful fundraiser and fun raiser for our community. So thank you, Scott. Spring classes. Posey has begun her class on this thing called You. There is one more week that you can enroll. The sign-up sheet is over here on the education table. And then Reverend Mary's class for couples, 7 principles for making marriage work, and that includes any committed relationship in any combination of straights or same-sex couples. And number 4, Woman's Spirit. Woman's Spirit is now an online registration event. You can go to right there, womanspiritjourney.com and enroll, and I wish you would. It's already filling up. And finally, Reverend M. Louise is going to be ordained right here in this very room at 3 o'clock this afternoon. You're all welcome. So those are the announcements. And now, before the blessing, I would love it if the practitioners would surround the room. And as the practitioners are doing that, and the ones that are going to be available for prayer with you, standing right up here with me, I want you to establish yourself in that consciousness of being divinely supported. We do this way so that you can feel that you are in a container of love, which is absolutely true. And so now for the blessing. May you know the purpose for which you took life. May you have the love and the courage to live it. And may Spirit guide your way. Blessed be. Please stand now for the affirmation and the closing song. Repeat the affirmation with me, please. My conscious choice is to live the life I came to live. I release any temptation to delay. I am on purpose with the support of divine life, and so it is.